Have you ever heard of a healthy, disease-free person who walks every morning, eats regularly, and then one morning, never wakes up again? No accident, no warning, just not opening his eyes the next morning. And if you think it can't happen to you, let me tell you about Walter, a 78-year-old man living in Michigan. He doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, exercises regularly, and is even called the ideal old man by his doctor. But there's one little habit that Walter never thought was dangerous. Every night before bed, he eats a few slices of salami with crackers. Just a snack, like millions of people do every night. Until one morning, his daughter walks into the room as usual. But this time, he's unresponsive. No breathing, no heartbeat. The doctor's verdict: a heart attack while he was asleep. But what left his family speechless was when the doctor explained that the root cause could be his favorite nighttime snack. That seemingly harmless thing had become the last straw for his aging heart. We always think of strokes or heart attacks as being caused by age, stress, or illness. But few people realize that a late dinner, or worse, a meal before bed, is the key factor in triggering these events, when the body is most vulnerable while sleeping. And the scariest thing, there could be a food in your refrigerator waiting to do the same thing as you're watching this video. In the next few minutes, I'll reveal 8 seemingly familiar foods that can be deadly when consumed before bed after the age of 6. And most importantly, the most dangerous food, the one Walter ate on the last night of his life. Don't miss a second, because life does not give us the chance to start over. Before we get into the list of dangerous foods, there is one thing you need to understand clearly. After the age of 65, your body no longer functions the way it did when you were 40 or 50. What you used to eat without any problems can now become a trigger for a silent crisis in the night. Biologically, the elderly body has a clear change in the way it regulates blood pressure, heart rate, and metabolic function during sleep. As you enter the aging stage, the autonomic nervous system, which helps control the heartbeat, stabilize blood pressure, and rhythmic breathing, begins to weaken. The mechanisms that protect the cardiovascular system during sleep are significantly reduced, especially from midnight to about 4 a.m., the period that doctors call the golden hour of rest. During this time, blood pressure often drops to its lowest level of the day. Blood flow to the brain and heart also decreases. The immune system rests, and the digestive system is still working silently. If you consume inflammatory foods high in sodium, sugar, or preservatives before bed, you are forcing your heart to work harder when it should be resting. And here's the most serious thing: your body is no longer able to warn as quickly as before. A heart attack in a young person can cause immediate chest pain and shortness of breath. But in older people, the signs may come later or not at all. You fall asleep and never wake up. According to a report from the American Heart Association, 72% of deaths from cardiovascular events in people over 65 occur during sleep, and most are related to the last meal of the day. It's no coincidence that cardiologists always advise older patients to be especially careful about what they eat after 7 p.m. That's why the next thing I'm about to share, 8 seemingly harmless foods, could be the silent killers in your kitchen. If you've ever woken up in the middle of the night with a racing heart, shortness of breath, or a feeling of unease, that could be your first warning sign. And it shouldn't be ignored. Processed cheese and salty dairy products. That piece of cheese you eat with crackers at night, it may sound harmless, but it's a salt bomb waiting to explode in your blood vessels while you sleep. Processed cheese is high in sodium and saturated fat, 2 factors that increase blood pressure and cause fluid retention in the blood vessels. After age 65, the kidney's ability to filter sodium decreases, making the body more susceptible to swelling and sudden increases in pressure on the heart. Elizabeth, 67, from Oregon, often woke up in the middle of the night feeling short of breath. Her doctor discovered a slight fluid buildup in her lungs, the cause of her nightly cheese and crackers habit. After eliminating this food, the symptoms disappeared after just 2 weeks. Don't let the same thing happen to you. Sugary cereals and sweet desserts. A bowl of cereal or chocolate chip cookies before bed might seem like a comfort, but the opposite is true. Sugar causes blood sugar to spike, then plummet during sleep, forcing the heart to work harder to keep it steady. This can lead to heart palpitations, anxiety, or in the worst case, an irregular heartbeat. Raymond, 71, of Florida, Never thought his evening bowl of cereal would be the reason he woke up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat and with an irregular heartbeat. When he hooked up a blood glucose monitor, his glucose spiked right after the snack, then plummeted around 3 a.m., a dangerous pattern for an older heart. After switching to an apple with almond butter, the pattern stopped. Processed meats, salami, sausages, cold cuts. This is the type of food that Walter, the character in the first part of the story, ate on his last night. Processed meats not only contain high amounts of salt and fat, but also contain nitrates, a preservative that can be converted into nitrosamines in the body, causing acute inflammation of blood vessels. When eaten at night, while the immune system and digestion are slowing down, the body is not strong enough to fight this inflammation, causing the heart to fall into a silent state of emergency. Doctors from the University of Maryland School of Medicine point out that nitrates in processed meats can trigger an inflammatory response in the lining of blood vessels, increasing the risk of heart attack and stroke during sleep, a time when no one can intervene in time. If you are keeping some cold cuts in the fridge for a late-night snack, consider an alternative: boiled eggs or steamed chicken breast without salt. Spicy and strongly spiced foods. A plate of spicy noodles or a bowl of pho at night may warm your stomach, but it can also be enough to heat up your entire digestive system while you're trying to sleep. In older people, the lining of the esophagus and stomach is weakened, making digestion of spicy foods sluggish and more likely to cause acid reflux. But the problem doesn't stop there. Nighttime reflux can irritate the vagus nerve, the main nerve between the stomach and the heart, causing chest pain, shortness of breath, or even irregular heartbeat. Patricia, 68, was hospitalized in the middle of the night with severe chest pain after eating spicy tacos the night before. Although she didn't have an actual heart attack, her doctor warned that the acid-induced inflammatory response could cause a heart attack if repeated frequently. Instead of pungent spices, switch to mild spices like coriander, dill, and basil, which are both flavorful and much safer. 5. Alcohol and other alcoholic drinks. Evening wine is often considered a relaxing ritual by many people. But for people over 65, it can be one of the silent causes of a series of respiratory and cardiovascular disorders at night. Alcohol relaxes the throat muscles, making older people more susceptible to sleep apnea, even if they don't have apnea before. In addition, alcohol also reduces oxygen saturation in the blood, forcing the heart to compensate by beating faster and harder. Exactly what you don't want to happen while you sleep. Howard, 73, discovered after a sleep test using a medical device that his blood oxygen levels dropped to dangerous levels every time he drank alcohol before bed. The worst part is that he had no idea it was happening. Doctor's advice: if you need to relax, replace alcohol with chamomile tea or cherry juice, both sleep aids and heart-friendly. 6. Drinks or foods containing caffeine, black tea, dark chocolate, coffee. One thing that many people forget: caffeine is not only in coffee. A piece of dark chocolate after dinner, a cup of strong tea, is enough to keep you awake and increase your heart rate in the middle of the night. Caffeine has a long half-life, meaning that if you drink coffee at 5 p.m., by 11 p.m., about 50% of the caffeine will still be active in your blood. This is especially dangerous for the elderly. Meredith, 70, used to wake up every night with a feeling of heart pounding like a drum. After recording her eating habits, her doctor realized that the culprit was the chocolate bar she ate after dinner. Completely cutting out foods containing caffeine after 3 p.m. helped her sleep well again after just 1 week. 7. Fried foods with a lot of fat. Fried chicken, French fries, donuts. These crispy and tempting foods are a big burden on the heart. The amount of trans fats and saturated fatty acids in fried foods not only increases cholesterol but also stimulates an inflammatory response throughout the body. When you sleep, instead of resting, the body has to work hard to process the fat intake, causing pressure on blood vessels and the risk of plaque rupture. Gregory, 69, thought he was completely healthy until he suffered a heart attack after a dinner of fried chicken and beer. The doctor made it clear the inflammatory response after the meal was the trigger. The alternative, steamed, boiled, or even baked, still delicious and harmless. Salty snacks and packaged foods high in sodium. Cookies, potato chips, or packaged snacks. They all have one thing in common: extremely high sodium content. The problem is that at night, when the body is no longer able to eliminate sodium effectively, it accumulates, leading to water retention, increased blood pressure, and stress on the heart. The risk of stroke at night for this reason is many times higher in the elderly than during the day. Deborah, 75, was alerted by her doctor when her blood pressure spiked in the middle of the night during monitoring. The culprit, a bag of snacks she often nibbled before bed. After switching to cucumbers and unsalted popcorn, her blood pressure stabilized. Now that we know the 8 silent enemies of late-night snacking, the question is, if you don't eat those foods, what should you eat? How can you still have a light, delicious dinner, not feel hungry before bed, and still ensure safety for your heart and sleep? The answer doesn't lie in strict abstinence. On the contrary, people over 65 need to eat a nutritious diet, but it's important to choose the right foods that suit the body's functioning mechanism at night. Here are some simple, easy-to-follow alternatives recommended by geriatric nutritionists. If you crave a snack after dinner, try a small banana with a spoonful of almond butter. Bananas contain tryptophan, an amino acid that helps synthesize serotonin and melatonin, supporting relaxation and deep sleep. Almond butter provides healthy fats that help maintain stable blood sugar at night. Instead of salty snacks or crackers, slice up some cucumbers or baby carrots and eat them with some unsalted hummus. They're crunchy and refreshing, and they aid digestion without putting extra strain on your heart. If you're used to drinking alcohol or tea after dinner, switch to chamomile tea, peppermint tea, or tart cherry juice. These drinks not only soothe your nerves, but have also been shown to improve sleep quality in older adults. You don't have to completely eliminate the pleasure of eating at night, but every little change you make today will go a long way toward keeping your heart beating more safely, not just tonight, but every sleep you get in the years to come. Walter wasn't careless. He didn't abuse alcohol. He didn't smoke. He didn't eat fried food. He walked every morning. He drank enough water. He slept on time, and he had regular checkups. But he had overlooked one important thing: a seemingly harmless late-night snack. And it was that little thing that took his life. Silently, without warning, without giving him a chance to correct it. Walter's story is not an exception. In fact, it's typical. Millions of seniors today are repeating the same habit every night, completely unaware that they're pushing their hearts to the limit. You may be healthy, you may be doing everything right, but if you ignore the warning signs from those little snacks, you're gambling with your sleep and with the loved ones who will wake up one morning and not find you there. Walter didn't get the warning, but you did. And right now, you have a choice. Don't wait until it's too late. You just learned a truth that could change the rest of your life or end it in your sleep. Don't let what you've just heard remain information. Take action. Tonight, eliminate at least one dangerous food from your bedtime routine. And if you've made a healthy alternative, share it in the comments below. Who knows, your choice could inspire and save the life of someone reading this tomorrow. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with your loved ones, especially those over. Sometimes, a small decision at night can save a lifetime. We can't control how old we get, but we can control what we eat. And it's the small, silent choices you make every night that will determine how many more healthy years you'll live, or how many more years you'll miss out on seeing your grandchildren grow up and your children succeed. Don't let a snack, a slice of cold meat, or a glass of wine, just a little bit, cost you your life. After 65, your body isn't as forgiving as it once was. It's silent, but it records every meal you put in it, and one day, it will speak up in ways you never expected. This video isn't just a list of warnings. It's an opportunity, a chance to rewrite your health future, starting with tonight's dinner. And if you've listened this far, you have the will to change. Start tonight, not with fear, but with initiative, because you are the guardian of your remaining golden years.